our next speaker, Edna White. Edna, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Edna, I'm so happy that you came in today to speak to us. Edna is a real estate investor. She's been investing in properties for years. As a matter of fact, she was a real estate investor even before she became a real estate broker. So she owns, several businesses. She coaches, clients. She helps with mindset. She has clients that she work with where she helps them to start and launch businesses. She helps them to gain streams of income, to change their lives and to uplift the community. So she's, an author. She's a speaker. She's, a real estate broker and investor, and she can exactly tell you a lot of the strategies that you can use as an investor, in any market where you can buy a home with little to no money down. So right now we're getting ready to start getting into the technical part. I know I said that before, but we really are. Edna's going to start talking to you a little bit about a couple of those strategies, and she's going to let you know her journey and a couple of those strategies right now, and then we're going to start, actually putting the pen to the paper. Okay.
Absolutely.
Everyone give Edna a hand. Edna White. Thank you, Edna. Thank you for coming.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. I'm excited to be here. Thank you, Lima, so much for having me. I've been listening to a lot of it, doing other things, but I've been listening. Got my listening ears on. and I'm so glad to meet all of you. Every time I meet someone, or even on Zoom, I get more information. You grow more knowledgeable in areas that you weren't, knowledgeable before. Mm-hmm. But my story started in 1998. Mm-hmm. I was a single mom. I had 3 children, and I was taking care of 2 nephews, which were my sister's children, because they were struggling and having a hard time. So I was on Section 8. All right. And this is back when Section 8 really meant something, Section 8 was like they would come in and give you all options. Okay, you have the option to buy a house. You have an option to save for this. Yeah, there was so many options that they had, because Section 8 then was a leg up. It wasn't legs stay there, you're going to inherit this and pass it on to your kids. It wasn't that thought back then. And I took the opportunity to go on the program called Family Self-Sufficiency, which they matched every dollar that I saved. And so I said, I got to get a house, because I was tired of renting, because I always had to move. I always had issues with the landlord, so I was tired of all of that moving around. And I said, I have to find a house. So at that time, I was working for the State Department, because, hey, we listened to our parents. You got to get a state job. You got to do, got to do that stuff, and I always knew that I was destined to be my own boss. I always knew that. But I took the white picket fence route, and I went that route, and it was wearing me out. I was working as a supervisor for the developmental disabled, and it was wearing me out, not just my mind, but my body. I felt like when I was in my 30s, I didn't even know what 50 felt like, but I felt it, okay? I was in pain. So I said, something's got to give, something's got to give. So there was a small real estate, mom and pop real estate down the road. So I was encouraged to go down there and talk to them, got all the information, what to do. First time out in a test, boom, done. I became the first real estate agent. So my specialty was rentals. So if any of the real estate agents know, rentals are a little tough, okay? And I was working with programs, so that was my specialty. And they always call me the real estate ladies to this day, because I know every program there is, okay?
Wow. Wow.
So I was always doing programs. They pull a program out, I know that. I know who to talk to. So that became my forte, right? So I said, okay, during all this time, I got to find me a house.
Mhm.
Well, being in real estate, you hear things before it even gets to the wind. It's like, as soon as it comes out, you hear it. Okay. So I'm looking around. I must have looked at 100. When I tell you 100 houses, I mean 100. But at that time, I was into Carlton Sheets. And one of his things he said was, when you buy a house, you're not buying a house to live in. It's an investment.
Yes.
So that always stuck in my mind. I said, I got to get a house that's going to be worth something. I got to look past, if it's dirty, I got to look past the dirt.
Yes.
I got to look past, all these little crazy things that would give me a hang up, right? Mm-hmm. So I finally get to this one house. I go into the house. It was a big house. It was like six bedrooms, 2 floors with a Florida room and a yard. Okay. So I got to this house. I got there and I walked in. I said, oh, this house is great. But I looked down, I was full of fleas. Okay.
Wow.
I had fleas all over me. Wow. So I had to call my son to come, bring me some clothes to change. I couldn't get back in the car like that. But the house was amazing. It had 3 bedrooms downstairs, 3 upstairs, and it was all legal. Boom. I said, okay, I'm gonna take this house. So we had to negotiate a little bit, and it was $99,000. Wow. $99,000. So what did I do? The upstairs was down in the lower part. Worked out beautifully, raised my children there. And I said, okay, I got to do this again. Wow. So, the market kind of switches up, right? So that's when the prices will go a little bit higher. So, of course, I leaned back into Carlton Sheets. I'm leaned back into him. Okay. And I started reading back over the material. My first house out, the man wasn't sure that he was going to sell it, wasn't sure if he's going to rent it. I ended up lease optioning it with him and bought it within a year.
Wow. Wow.
So that was my second property. The first property was my home, but it was still an investment. Right. So I said, okay, I need some money to do the next one. So what did I do? I cashed a little bit of money out of the first one, and then I rolled it over to have a down payment for the second one. So that was a little smaller house. So at that point, now I know Carlton Sheets is doing it for me. He's doing it for me. So I'm excited. I'm excited about Carlton Sheets and everything he's showing me. My fourth property was an assumption. Now, I wasn't even in New York. I'm in Long Island in New York. It was actually in Pennsylvania, and I assumed a mortgage. Wow. Then I was like, now I know there's something in this, So, of course, I don't like to work very hard. I don't like to be aggravated. He said to have a property manager wherever you get houses at, right? Right. That's what I did. Wow. I didn't stress myself out, and it worked really well because I didn't have contact with them except to introduce myself, and then I would let it go, and then they would kind of take over because I wanted to know who was living in the homes that I would, that I was renting out. So this kept going on for years and years and years. And then I got into a very bad car accident. Now, mind you, my real estate is in full flex. I have a manager, 15 agents in one office, and 13 in the other. So it's going full flex. I get into a car accident, and I am can't walk for 8 months. I am totally depleted. The lungs are collapsed, but I had a great team of people. The manager took over, like boom, boom, everything. And what was so beautiful about it, I didn't lose anything, like the office just ran itself. And it was wonderful. And think about this, I was still doing programs, rental programs. And I was making for myself 10 grand a month, myself, not my office, myself on just rentals. So it was just something. I knew the PHAs, but it was very good this is how real estate can really help you and be a flow of income for you, because, you know, my sons were able to kind of get the funding and everything together for me. I didn't have to be there. Everything just came in while I was in the hospital. And my hospital bill was $300,000.
Wow.
It was a lot. It was a lot. And everything was kind of taken care of it. But if it wasn't for real estate investments at that particular time, I wouldn't have known what to do. Now, when the market started turning, of course, I sold a lot of my properties. But here's the beauty about real estate. Not only can you do lease options, not only can you do rent to buy, owner financing, assumptions, but you also can invest in the stocks that have to do with it. So what did I do with that money? I said, okay, I'm going to take this money and put into an investment stock that has to do with real estate. You know, they have a fund that's called the REIX, I believe it is, and you can invest your money into the stocks that have to do with building houses. You know, it's not to a particular group. It just has to do with, you know, the wood, the concrete, the aluminum siding, windows, whatever it is that has to do with real estate, that stock is for. And I fortunately had a great financial advisor. And when I say that, when I was transitioning now to coaching, what I'm doing now, I coach real estate as well. I coach people who want to do investments, as well as real estate agents who want to, you know, take it to the next step and increase the level of their income. I teach those things. And I like that everyone says it's about mindset, because your mindset is really all about you. Now, I was in my office, I was the only Black woman. Worse than that, I was the Black young woman. I was real young. So I was younger than most people in the office. So that was a challenge in itself, because they didn't believe I could do it. And I saw what they were doing, but I took the initiative to say, you know what, I'm not going to sit in the office. I'm going to be in the street. And I'm going to go where nobody like me goes. Where did I go? I went to Southampton. So what was my first house to sell? A house worth $765,000. In 10 days, I sold that house. I sold that house in 10 days. So that excited me, because now I knew I had to not be like the ordinary. I wanted to be extraordinary. Not like anybody else, not like anyone else, you know, not even like celebrity. I didn't even want to be like a celebrity. I wanted to really feel out me. You know, I wanted to be me. So in that whole experience of my journey, now I'm at an age where my sons, they do a lot of the investments. I don't do. I take money and put it in stocks. That's where I want my money, because I want to retire. So I'm on the year that I said that I want to retire. And guess what I'm doing? I'm retiring. I'm working only 3 hours a week. And that's beautiful for what I wanted to do. And I never thought I would get there, but it's the residual income. It's all that residual income. I did an interview with I have a podcast, and I interview authors and entrepreneurs. And one entrepreneur told me there are 33 ways. His mentor told him there's 33 ways to make income in one business. And I was like, what? So of course I became the interviewer. I was really the interviewer. Then I was an investigator. Let me find out all the information. I was like, this show is for me. Okay. I was excited. So I said, I'm asking him these questions. I said, 33 ways. So I'm thinking about my coaching business. He says, yeah, because you always tell me, don't work in your business, work on it. I said, yeah. And I'm trying to structure it so that I could do what I love, give back to the community, and still do the things you do and free up my time, right? So I says, well, how many ways you know, because I'm always want to test somebody. How many ways do you have in your business? So he says, I don't want to admit this because this is going to go international, but one. And he says, my mentor is going to get me. I say, well, you need to go back to your mentor, because I tell him that I'm going to take the information and use it. I am now in my coaching business up to 12 ways. I wrote it down yesterday. 12 ways of having to bring residual income into my business. And
Wow.
I'm not working hard at all.
Wow.
And the best thing you all could do for yourselves, and I'm telling you, be really honest with you all, is hire people to do the smaller things for you. Trust others. You know, this is a business that you have to look at it, because I'm telling you, I told my mentor, I said, he's like, okay, now you're gonna have to get a VA for this and the VA. I said, wait a minute, you can't do it like me. What are you talking about? They don't have my voice. They don't have my know-how. You know, I'm saying all this stuff to my coach now, and he said, and he softly said, so what date are you going to get this VA? I fought him tooth and nail. Do you know that was the best thing I ever did in my entire time? It was the best thing. And I was like, okay, I need to get another one. So in my thinking, you know, I'm saying, okay, I can afford her, but I want to have some money left over. So I started getting interns. Now I'm up to 3 interns doing specific things. So sales and marketing is somebody, and then the posting is somebody else, and then doing the administrative work, sending out emails is somebody else. Because you want to have somebody doing things that they specialize in. Because listen, I'm like the last speaker. I'm not going to ask you, and you don't got nothing. Ask you what to do to get something. I'm not going to ask you. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to talk to you. I'm just no. It's like, you know, I'm not going to do it. It doesn't make any sense at all to ask someone who doesn't have or say, what do you think I should do? Well, they don't know what to do because they're not doing it. So I'm always going to ask somebody that's got it. They got it. I'm asking, and I'm not ashamed to ask, because the Bible do say ask. So I just said, okay, let me just step to it and ask. And I've worked with millionaires, and I still work with millionaire investors. Now I'm coming in as a JV partner. And listen to this. It's not always money, ladies and gentlemen. It's not always money. It could be a barter. So I'm in a JV partnership with someone that my experience I bring to the table. And now I'm partner in this big complex that they have going on up in Sacramento. I'm helping with that's part of the project. And of course, I see Vera's a lawyer. Listen, Vera, I said I don't know everything, so you know who I got, right? A lawyer. Look these papers over, because I need glasses, you know. So I need somebody to know what they talk, you know, what's going on. So it was so exciting that I had to learn that money is not, you know, getting somewhere financially, ladies and gentlemen, is not just money. It's not. If you work your network right, if you work the people that you are in relationship right, it'll be barter. Okay. I've gone to Australia for a month, and guess what it was? Somebody who loved me enough said, Edna, you did so much for me, paid for me. And I was there a month. Not because I didn't even know I was getting that, but because you put out good, you get back good. But you don't think about what you're going to get behind it. And that's what I did, because everyone gave up on those people that were on Section 8 and gave up on them, you know, the programs, but I didn't. I said, that's where I came from. So if I can't help right there, because I saw the money, that's what I said. I saw the opportunity to meet the people, to help the people. I could see the satisfied looks on their faces. And also, I'm also a survivor of sexual abuse. So that was my ability to be able to talk to them and about that part, because that part even stops you from stepping up to the next level, because you don't believe you're enough. You don't believe, and having that ability to see that and talk to so many people, I was able to create a program within one of the agencies, Long Island Coalition for the Homeless, from homelessness to home ownership. I was able to create a program to help the homeless people get funding. And guess what? In that funding, I found all these programs that no one's saying anything about. That even if you're on disability, you can buy a house. Who knew, right? Who knew?
Wow. Wow.
Things
Wow.
just like that are important. You will find out. And like the last speaker said, get as much pull all that information in. If you're with someone that has that information, have a conversation. I have made it my life's I don't know if it's my life's work, but every week I talk to 5 people.
Wow.
Every week.
Wow.
Okay. And I don't ask them for favors. We talk about what they're doing. They give me ideas. We mastermind together and we come up with things to move both of our careers forward. So I'm helping people out. And not only that, it's now I'm growing my business, my network, and guess what? Opportunities fall in your lap. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't have to search for them. I don't have to search for the clients. And it's the thing that happens when you are aligned with what you do. Yes. So I'm telling you all that investment, no matter what market it is, okay, no matter what market it is, okay. I even started working with trailers. Let me tell you, trailer park. They can call me. They can call me a trailer park. They can call whatever. But if it was in my purview to make the money on, I'm making it. I'm making it. If somebody's willing for me to take over their trailer park, it could be, it could be raggedy. If they're willing and I can do the work, but I don't do the work, my sons do the work. But if I see that, I'm working with it. I'm working with it. Yeah. I will make it better than I received it. So you gotta see the potential. And when you're doing that, it's because you're aligned, because your mindset is where your heart's at. Your heart and your body's acting like that. See, a lot of people, they talk mindset, that body ain't doing it. It's not reverberating. So we need to be actionable in what we do. And that's why my coaching is about everything that I do. It's about every piece of that. It's about the spiritualism. And listen, another thing that we all don't do, we don't turn off. Sometimes it's time to turn off. So when work time is over, I believe I was the only real estate agent that said, okay, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, phones go off, don't answer no phones. I would tell my agents that you have a life. It can't be bad if you answer the calls all the way to 12, 1 o'clock. What deal can you close at 12 o'clock? Right. At night. Right. The lawyers, they definitely going to sleep. Okay. Only person is around is probably a boiler guy. And then property managers take care of that. So what problem could you solve? Right. So you have to balance your life out and enjoy and have some fun. You know, have some fun. You know, I used to celebrate every deal. Every deal I'd celebrate, give them a gift, and then give myself a gift and say, hey, did that. Right. You know, celebrate yourself, because we don't celebrate ourselves. We keep moving and we keep going and keep going. But we need to stop and say, hey, you know, Edna did that. Yes. Edna did that. Thank you, God. Edna did that. And you celebrate yourself. Buy some Starbucks, you know, something, and celebrate what you've done. Because when you look back over everything, it's not about how far you come, it's how you came that far. What you did to come that far. Like all those things in between, those little tiny steps, what you've done to get there. So for the market and for everything else, ladies and gentlemen, get into it. Wherever you are, if it's in back door, get into it. If it's on the side of your back door, get into it. But be open for that. Be really open, because real estate can bring you amazing gifts. I raised 3 children without the help of Department of Social Services, without Section 8 on real estate. So I got out of it to get out of it. Yes. You know, okay. So, but that's it. That's my spiel, and I'm sticking to it.
So Edna, I just had a couple of questions for you. So you were talking about like a couple of ways, you know, ways to buy, you know, properties, you know, with no money down or little money down. And you mentioned one of the ones that we talked about before, subject to. Can you explain a little bit, you know, about the
that's my favorite. That's my favorite one.
And how this is definitely a way that you can get into a property with very little to no money down and walk into
my favorite.
Yes.
Yeah. So the subject twos, you have a different type of contract. So what you're really doing is taking over the money, the mortgage, subject to what they've already are paying. So if they're paying taxes every 6 months, or if they're paying, included in their mortgage, however their mortgage is set up, you're kind of taking it over. That's exactly, it's not an assumption. Assumption is different because you have to apply, your credit has to be validated. Subject to, none of that happens. Okay, you're sitting at there, literally sitting at there, and if you have a great attorney, the attorney will have gone over the paperwork with you. So, I say that because I see Vera, that's why. And if you have a great attorney, she or he will give you the paperwork that you need to close at the table. I've always closed my deals $10. That was my, because you have to have a meeting of the mind. You have to have convey some money. You can't say zero down. It's got to be conveyance of some money. So mine was $10. So I had $10 bills all the time. So
that's, you guys hear that? Like, she closed deals with $10. Did you guys hear that?
So
this is
real.
It's real. You close deals with $10.
Yeah, and that's what you do. You come to see. I used to do real estate. When I would go in to see a listing, I came with everything: the sign. I came with the listing agreement. I came with the file with their name on it. I was getting it. So that was my. So when I go to someone's house that says, "Yeah, I need to get rid of this house," as soon as they say that to me, okay, we running down the line of what we can do. Right. So we're running, and make sure you're real versed on those things, whatever feels comfortable for you. But I was really versed on subject twos, and I could run it off just like this and tell them what was going to happen and how it was going to happen.
Right.
And I would close with $10, and they would literally sign the contract right at the table. Right. Now that takes them signing the subject to contract over, then you also being a power of attorney for the house. Vera can kind of verify that. But it takes you to be, power of attorney for, the house and the insurance, so that you're part of the insurance. A lot of that transitioning almost takes place right at the table, right at the table. Right. So when you're taking over this, you're actually, what I used to do was either I'm going to flip it to a buyer that's going to buy, or I'm going to rent it out. But I always would have the clause, whatever I wanted to do with, didn't say that, but whatever I wanted to do with the property, that was what was going to happen. So they would give me the right to do what I needed to do for the property, as long as I paid the mortgage according to what they were paying and how they were paying it. So that's how subject to, it's a little bit more intricate than that, but that is the fastest way that if you hear somebody that needs to move a property, move it fast. That's how you can do that. I don't know. I did it with $10. That's how I did it. I did it with $10. We have to convey something. So I did it with $10. The lease options, they require more money. So when I started doing this, I didn't have that much money, so I had to spread it out as much as possible. So I could close, if you really were looking, and at the time I was doing, I could close 5 or 6 a week of subject to.
Right.
Subject to, and do it just like that.
Exactly.
Edna, sorry, I don't mean to cut you short, but you have a question in the chat session. Michelle,
oh, I'm sorry, I'm not looking at it. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. Michelle is asking if she missed how you found those deals.
Did I miss how you found these? Okay, so what I did was I worked with Craigslist. Okay, so Craigslist has this, it's called I want to say it's almost like a skimmer. So it's an app that you put in words, and Craigslist pulls out the words and then sends you what listing has the words in it. So I would use need to sell, take over mortgage. That was a big one for me. Take over mortgage, buy out, what else? Desperate, the word desperate. So that I think it was called Craigslist skimmer, like it would skim through the and pull them all out and put them in my email. So every day I would have something like that, you know, so that's how the conversation would start. So I would either contact them via email, but I kind of had like a skit already done. And listen, guys, Carlton Sheet's still around in the libraries. Go on over there. And go to this library. He has all the contracts. He has the, you know, and have your attorney look them over. But he has the contracts. He has the verbiage. He has the scripts. All of that. You just go to the library. But that's the script I kind of used. And so it would start a communication on email. Once email sparked, then I would call them up and meet them. Nothing would be discussed over the phone. It was face to face.
Right.
Once they caught the email, nothing was ever talked over the phone. We go face to face. So they could see me and I could see them and I could talk about the house.
Yes.
So you're saying how would you do that today? The same. Craigslist now has an alert system. So if you put something in the address bar of Craigslist, right? And you say, let's say buyout, you put the word buyout. To your right, you'll see save this alert, and you just press it, and each day the alerts come to your email. Does that make sense, Michelle?
Yes.
Okay, and yes, it is a great source of leads. What I did was I picked out areas that I like to work in. So I did Long Island, I did PA, because I could find really great deals there. I did Delaware, because it was right, like I could take a drive. Upstate, please, upstate is very, very good. And I put those in so that you can get those alerts. So each area you would do that in.
Yes.
Okay. You're welcome.
Any other questions for Edna? Anyone? Larry, Adrian? Larry, are you there? Adrian? Larry?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah. Hi, how are you? Do you have any questions for Edna?
No, not right now.
Okay. Adrian, any questions? Okay. Edna, thank you so much for joining.
You're so welcome. Thank you. Thank you.